I'm one of the Goddess athletes. I am doing Q&A. So we'll start. The first one is from Danielle R702. It says, having a hard time getting stomach, flat abs, getting rid of stomach fat, I want my abs. That is every girl's dream. Honestly, every girl that I've spoken to just would love six-pack and abs. And honestly, when we compete and we have to have abs, it's so difficult for girls to get those. Unless you're genetically gifted and you have abs from day dot, then well done. So the best advice I can give to get abs, briefly, it's all about diet. So you need to be eating well. Listen to your body. If you're eating things and you find that you quite often wake up the next day and have a stomach ache, or for example, I eat oats in the morning, I get stomach ache afterwards, so I know that my body doesn't like oats. It's also all about water. You need to be drinking loads of water. If you need to get a lot of sleep, it's so important for your body to rest and recover properly. And then obviously the last thing, most important part, I think, is training. So obviously to get abs, I wouldn't recommend doing loads and loads of ab workouts. A little bit of science from me. So for example, if your core's like this and you want it to be like this, if you train your abs, this is our starting point, your core is gonna just get bigger. Like any muscle, it will get bigger. Obviously, you don't want that. You can do ab workouts, but wait until your core is smaller. Starting point for me, I would say, would be to do HIIT training, so anything like interval training, circuit training, anything that's going to get your heart rate up. Intervals on the treadmill are quite good. With my clients, I do quite a lot of circuit training, metabolic circuits, so a bit of cardio and a bit of weights together. They are really, really good for fat burning, fat loss, which ultimately is going to give you abs. But ladies, just be aware, it is quite hard. Most people want abs. Don't be disheartened if it does take longer, because it depends on your body type how long it will take. Question 2 is from Larissa, sorry, my pronunciation is awful. How do I gain lean muscle without becoming chubby? People tell me I should eat more in order to make booty gains, but I'm scared I'll gain fat instead. And also for booty exercises, lift heavy with a few reps or more reps, less weight. So there's a few questions in that, so I'll start with the first part. How do I gain lean muscle without becoming chubby? It's all about diet. So for example, if I was going to try and do like a lean bulk, if that makes sense, when you come out of a show, you reverse diet up. And the idea of having an off season is that you can grow a little bit, otherwise you have no starting point to cut for your next show, so it's impossible. So to gain lean muscle without becoming chubby, try and eat things like carbs. Don't cut carbs out. Carbs are like your best friend, honestly. Try and have healthier carbs. Try and not do loads of HIIT training, not do loads of cardio. Whilst you want to stay fit and healthy, you're just going to end up burning calories and burning unnecessary fat, which obviously if you're trying to gain muscle you don't want to do. You do need to add a little bit of cardio in, so maybe 15 minutes every day or 15 minutes 3 times a week of just something like cross trainer, nice and easy, walking on the treadmill, going out for a walk outside, nothing too strenuous. Second part of that question, people tell me I should eat more in order to make booty gains. 100%. If you look back through my photos, and I know there's a couple of other girls that are competing at the moment on the Goddess page, if you don't eat much and you cut muscle away as well as fat, you will lose booty gains if you don't eat a lot, so try and eat as much as possible. Good stuff, obviously. I'm scared I'll gain fat instead. It's all about what you eat, it really is. So obviously if you want to gain, don't eat things like crisps and chocolate and burgers, and you need to eat things like potato, rice, sweet potato, the right amount of protein. The best advice actually I can probably give is try and get your macros professionally written out for you. So macros is how many grams you have of carb, fat and protein a day, so then you know exactly what you should be eating and you can stick by it. You can download MyFitnessPal as well, that's really helpful because you can track everything and you can scan it in. So if you've got like chicken, when you cook it, you can scan it in so that you know exactly what you've eaten for that day. So that is really helpful. And then the last part, booty exercises, lift heavy with a few reps or more reps, less weight. It's difficult because they're both effective. Obviously to build muscle, I would say as heavy as possible. A lot of women don't like lifting heavy. I lift quite heavy and I mean, you might think differently, but I don't think I look manly at all. I would say try and lift as heavy as possible. If you need any help with anything like that, obviously there are a lot of the Goddess athletes that are PT trained, myself included. So if you need any advice, please feel free to message me. Okay, question 3 is from Sarah_Kirby90. How do you stay disciplined? Good question. I'm glad someone asked that. When you're dieting for a show, in a nutshell, for some people that maybe don't know a lot about competing, the idea is, especially in bikini, which is what I do, you need to get as lean as possible before stage. Now, whilst you don't need a massive six-pack, you do need to be lean. By lean, I mean minimal body fat. When you're dieting for a show, obviously, your head should be 100% in it. I'm quite competitive, so I like to win and I like to do well and I like to beat myself, my own personal challenges. So for me to stay disciplined, it does sometimes become quite difficult. I am quite a sociable person and my job is very sociable as well. So it is quite hard sometimes, you know, like when all my friends are going out and I have to sort of say, no, I'm not going to go. But I also think it is important to stay sociable. So staying disciplined is it is quite hard. I mean, I work in a gym, but a couple of our members always bring in things like donuts and chocolate and biscuits, and that is difficult when you're sort of around people that are eating rubbish. But you just have to really think, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it for myself. And I've had times in prep where I've been in a bad mood, or I've had a bad day, or something I found really difficult, and you go and you binge or you eat something you're not supposed to eat, and then afterwards you do actually feel really, really guilty, which isn't always a good thing, because, you know, from a professional PT point of view, you shouldn't feel guilty about what you're eating, you should just eat it, but it's all about balance. However, from a competing point of view, you know, it is important that you do eat the right things. So I think it's quite hard to explain, as I've babbled on for about 5 minutes. How do you always wear makeup to the gym? I sweat it all off so quickly. I actually don't wear any makeup. I have literally got no makeup on now. I have a little bit of mascara on because otherwise I look like a 12-year-old boy. Tips for battling bad self-esteem in the gym. I see girls that look amazing every day and it puts me off. Now, this question actually made me a little bit upset when I first read it earlier. Not because of the question at all, in any way, shape or form. It kind of saddens me that people feel like they can't go into the gym, they can't go into the free weights, and they look worse than someone else. I'm very, very, very self-critical, and I will spend hours on Instagram and look at girls that look completely different from me and are a completely different type of person from me and think, oh my god, they look amazing and I look rubbish. And that's not the case. It doesn't matter if you're slightly overweight, if you're really, really skinny, if you have brown hair, black hair, blue eyes, blonde hair, you know, it really doesn't matter if you've got small boobs, you've got a small bum, if you've got big hips. It really does not matter what you have about yourself. You're all completely different. You can't compare yourself to these girls. And actually, there are a lot of photos of people that you see on social media and you think, oh, they look unreal, like look at her body. You actually find that 9 times out of 10 these girls don't actually look like that. And I've done it where I've looked on social media at some bloggers, fitness bloggers, and you think, oh my god, they look amazing, and then you see them at an expo and they look nothing like it. My best advice would be, don't scroll through Instagram and look at other girls. If you're already feeling that way, it's just going to make you feel worse. On that same note, if you want to make yourself feel better, maybe try and take a break from social media. I did it, hence why if you look at my social media, my posts are quite sporadic. But for me, when I first started going to the gym, I wasn't very confident and I didn't really like going. I went because I wanted to look a certain way, and I think you need to kind of get yourself either a goal or something that will make you kind of want to go for that reason rather than looking like someone else. It's really easy to get stuck in a rut of looking through social media and going, oh, she looks amazing, she looks amazing. But at the end of the day, you're not like any of them. You are completely different. You're your own person. And everyone is beautiful in their own way, as cliche as that sounds. You really are. Everybody has different features. Everybody has different things that they're good at as well. So if you're not necessarily that experienced in the gym, it doesn't mean you're not going to be. I was really unhappy with how I looked, and now I love my body and I love lifting and I love training, and I know so many girls, especially my clients, I train a lot of girls and they all feel exactly the same. So at M Fraser X. First one, what made you get into competing and why? Competing for me, actually it was weird. I always used to dislike it and always just used to think, oh no, that's not for me, I wouldn't ever like that. But it was actually on my PT course, and there was a couple of girls on there that I had seen that did it. They looked amazing, and I was at a point where I was kind of a little bit insecure, didn't really like how I looked, and they were talking about it one day and I thought, oh, I'll do a bit of research. I kind of then thought, yeah, I might do it. I used to be a swimmer and I used to do a lot of athletics as well, so I was told actually, unfortunately, I couldn't swim anymore, so I gave that up. When you grow up and you do something for such a long time, you then get to the point and someone says you can't do it, you think, I need to do something else. I love sport, but I'm not very good at some sports just because my coordination is rubbish. Really bad. So I was basically like, yeah, I'll give it a go, and actually now I love competing. You literally come off stage and you're smiling for about 3 days. Like literally smiling. People look at me at work and they're like, are you okay? Why are you still smiling? It brings out a lot of things in people that I think people didn't necessarily know that they had. As I've never been unconfident, but I was always quite sort of shy initially, and getting on stage for me when I first did my show was a massive hurdle because I thought, I can't do this, you know, I'm never going to be able to do that, and I did it, and now you'd never even think that I was ever shy. Okay, the last question is, why do you have a coach if you're a personal trainer, and would you recommend sessions with a trainer or online coaching? Now, first part of that question, why do you have a coach if you're a personal trainer? I have a coach because I've worked in various different gyms, and I find, because I work such long days, sometimes the last thing I want to do is train when I've been in a gym all day. I see him once a week, my coach Mark Palfrey. His Instagram is @MarkPalfrey. If any of you are personal trainers and are struggling to have a coach, I think it takes a massive load of pressure off of you. These people are trained to be coaches in bodybuilding. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It takes loads of pressure off of me, so my workload seems less because all I have to do is train accordingly to what he gives me, eat what he says, and that's it. And the second bit, would you recommend sessions with a trainer or online training? Now, I am a PT, I do one-to-one, group, whatever you like, and I also do online coaching, so I do see the different sides in this. However, I had an online coach, I'm not going to name names, but he was absolutely rubbish. He wasn't very good, he didn't really give me much attention. Whilst my coach now, Mark, is insanely busy, he can't give you attention every single minute of the day. However, he's always at the end of his phone if you need him. He'll always meet you if you need him straight away. There are lots of different coaches. The best thing I can say though, really can't emphasise this enough, if you're going to get an online coach, please make sure you research it. There are so many coaches out there that will give you minimal calories. You shouldn't be eating 400, 500 calories a day. But I think you also really need to make sure that the person you're getting information from is qualified. There are a lot of people on social media that will do a show or something like fitness related and then suddenly be offering fitness plans, and it's like, you're not qualified. I'm thinking of putting a video together and a few blog posts on Goddess Nutrition. Best company, best supplements out there, hands down. If you have any questions, just DM me them, or my email is on there as well. But yeah, I hope this has been informative. I hope you've learned loads. If you've got any questions, my Instagram is @bwilliams_UKBFF. Mwah!